What is going on, everybody? My name is Tin Chu, currently a fourth year medical student. This is going to be our first ever podcast with one of my good friend.
I'm on. I'm also a fourth year medical student, and I'm also excited. What are we going to talk about today? What do you-
And first of all, I just want to say that all these ideas are our own. You know, we're not in no way affiliated with any schools, organization, or institutions. So do not take anything we say as professional medical advice, or even personal life advice, unless you want to. We bear no responsibilities for your bad decisions.
Thank you for that.
But yeah, all right, let's get into it. What do you got? What do you got for us today?
Well, you team Will, you team Chris. Let's talk about that.
Oh my goodness, man! Chris, Will Smith, and Chris Rock. So we probably don't need to go into the story, but essentially, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscar. Um, Obviously, man, like I'm, dude, team Chris, man. If you can think of any reason why someone, I can't see why anyone would be for Team Will. Uh,
Well, first
so
off, why
what
why
about you?
why
What
are
team
you
you on?
jumping on Team Chris so easily?
Well, let me see. What team are you on?
Let's say to the public, I want to say I'm Team Chris, but I also have an understanding for Team Will. Okay, I'm a type of
Okay.
guy that likes to look at both sides and really understand what Will was going through as well. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
especially,
mean, I think
yeah.
that's good. Uh, we should both look at both sides. I think that's always a good idea. Have a good discussions. So I think for Chris Rock, I think Will Smith definitely out of line here. First of all, you in public, you in a public organized space. You like live national television. The joke itself, I think it's an overreaction itself. The punishment got to fit the crime, and for me, I feel like that punishment was way over the top. The reaction's way over the top. Uh, the jokes against his Will Smith's wife, Jada Smith. People are saying from what I've been reading is, he kind of make fun of her bald head, and people are saying you should make fun of alopecia, a medical condition. So we don't know if Chris Rock knew that she had alopecia. I'm not sure if Jada Smith. I didn't even know that Jada had alopecia. So I don't know if she made it public at all. I don't really follow her. Not really following her podcast. I don't follow her life. I don't know if she had a podcast. I think she does.
Really.
But yeah, I think punishment got to fit the crime, and his reaction is just way over the top. I think could have been handled like backstage, just like come up to him and be like, "Hey, I don't appreciate that," or something. Uh, if he really wanted to make a show of him defending his wife, come up and be like, "Hey, don't talk to me like that." But I don't think violence was necessary. That slap was hard, man. That slap was hard. If I'm surprised Chris Rock stood there smiling. Dude, that was me. I'd be in tears just from the pain, just from being like the anger, just from getting overwhelming emotion. Totally. I feel like that totally took him out of surprise. Like he was not prepared. He didn't think that was like it was gonna be violence coming into making that joke. So definitely over the top reaction. I'm not sure why Will Smith kind of reacted so badly to that. Maybe you can shed some light on that.
Well, first of all, like, how did you find out about this? To be honest, did you see on the news? Did somebody text
Uh,
you?
I think I was scrolling through Instagram,
Oh, okay. Through social
and I
media.
think it was. I think it was during the Oscar was happening, and I think the first clip of it going is because I think the Oscar didn't show it right away. Right, usually for live national TV, they kind of delay it.
Hmm.
Right, they would film it, but then they don't show you what you're seeing live. You actually see probably like maybe 30 seconds, a minute after
Oh,
what they are
okay.
recorded. So usually they can edit it out. So I think for national TV, American TV, you actually don't get to see it. But the clip that I saw was through a Japanese channel where they kind of dub. So like, the clip that I watched, you can hear them speaking English, and then there will be Japanese voiceover
Uh,
after what they're saying, kind of translating. So that's the first clip I saw. It was on Instagram. It was pretty recent too. I feel like it happened.
oh,
It popped up
Wow, look
So
at
I think it was
you. You're
I think
pretty
it was probably one of the first
you're
clip.
pretty
Yeah.
up to date. You
Yeah, I just gonna be that's why you gotta be in the Eastern
oh,
time
that's
zone because you
nice.
three hours ahead of everybody.
Well, I
That's not how time works, but yeah.
well, let's not go into that. I don't know either. But I found out like way later, and it was through a text message from Patty. She texted
Oh,
me and she
okay.
was like, "You know, Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock." I was like, "What?" Or no. She was like, "Did you know Will Smith
Yeah.
slapped somebody?" She didn't even say Chris Rock. And I was like, "Wait." I automatically I thought about, wait, I already saw this. Yeah, he slapped the reporter like for kissing him on the cheek.
Oh, so he
Yeah,
had a
no.
history
So
of
that was like
slapping
I had no
people.
context. All she did was texted me. Will Smith slapped somebody, and then the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, it's that reporter? Like that was like a long ass time ago, you know. So basically, what I'm saying is like I knew that Will Smith had other times where he assaulted somebody, you know. And then when I saw that it was Chris Rock
Yeah, I
in
didn't know
front of
that.
live television, I was like shocked. And I'm like, wait, this really is this who Will Smith is? You know, like this isn't his first time. It's not his first rodeo. So, anyways, like, um, I looked into it more. I watched the whole clip. It's so awkward. It's so cringe. Like, have you seen the whole clip?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I watched like what happened before that. He was making the GIG
Yeah,
like jokes.
but the thing is that Will
Yeah,
Smith laughed at the joke.
yeah. I remember seeing that. He Will Smith didn't mind it at all. He just looked like saying that like laughing. Jada, I don't know. They don't show you. I don't feel like I feel like they don't show you. And then they cut to Chris Rock, so they don't show you Will Smith looking at Jada. So maybe he didn't look at Jada, but people are saying that
Yeah,
he did
there's
look
like
at
a
Jada.
moment where the camera.
Probably he did because then he sees that she's upset about it, but we don't get to see that, so I don't know.
Yeah, so that is
But
it's
all
the
we know is that it
mystery.
showed Will Smith laughing, and then next thing they cut to Chris Rock. He keeps talking, and he's kind of like
Hmm.
paused, right? As Will, he's like, uh oh, and then as Will Smith's walking up,
But
and he's just like
what
smiling.
I want to pose this question. What do you think happened between him laughing at the joke and Jada like rolling her eyes? Like what did she say to him? Did she say something? Did she motion something to him? Like is Will Smith whipped? You know? Like what is he like there's something that can trigger Will Smith that Jada knows how to trigger him? There's gotta be it was like a switch, you know, like
Yeah,
he was in with the joke. He
yeah.
loved the joke.
No,
I really want to know what you think. Like,
like I honestly like. I think the reason why he, because it's like, do we agree that? Let me just say, do we agree that it was an over the top
yes, it
reaction?
was. It was.
It was like the punishment did not fit the crime.
I agree.
Like the joke wasn't that great of a joke, but it wasn't that offensive. I personally feel like. Um. So what was your question again?
What do you think happened
Oh,
in
okay. No,
between?
okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah. So I think in between is what happened. It's like Will Smith didn't think that joke was bad, but then he saw Jada make that thing look. I can't say for sure. If Jada kind of like look at him, be like, "Are you gonna let him, talk about this about me?" And then Will Smith kind of like, "Oh, I guess I gotta go do something," or if he just kind of see his wife not being happy, and then he decided to take matter into his own hand. But I've been saying this to people. I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you know the relationship between Will Smith and his wife, and like prior histories and stuff?
I just know a little bit about it, but not. I didn't dive deep into it, but I should have.
Yeah, I mean, just I didn't really dive deep into it, but I just know they had issue before, which she kind of like, where she had an affair with like other people, and Will Smith kind of know about it, and so I think their relationship was already kind of weird, and I'm just saying I feel like this is what I've been telling people is that I maybe Jada had something on Will Smith, like she has some kind of blackmail on him that she's friend to release. Because I feel like the way she treat Will Smith is not great. Like just based on what I've known and what I've seen stories in the past is like even I I don't see her apology to Will Smith about like she called her affair with another dude like even though they were separated at the time. She's like I feel like she wasn't feeling sorry for what she did. She's kind of like she called it an entanglement. Like at this time when we were separated, this her words. Like I had an entanglement with a person, and I feel like it's not. She doesn't genuinely feel sorry for what she
Mhm.
does and did to Will Smith and the family. So I don't think she treats him very well. I don't know if he does anything to her, but personally, I feel like she probably had dirt on him or something, and
This
yeah, that's
conspiracy
why it's
theory here. Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know the fact that it was so out of proportionate. I feel like it was just like a button that Jada was able to press, and just to like make Will Smith flip into this monster. Like she has full control
Yeah,
over
like
him.
attack mode. Like flip on the
Yeah,
press a button for sure.
that's what it just seemed like. But anyways,
But you said there's some people who's defending Will Smith, and what do you think? Why? What were their
yeah.
thoughts on
So
that? How can you see that?
it let me ask you a question. So if somebody was making fun of your wife, let's just say a joke about your wife or whatever, what would you do? If you're and your wife was obviously hurt by it and did not take the joke lightly at all, what would you do? Would you go over there and confront the person, or what would you personally do? How do
I mean, yeah, I mean, if it's obviously upset my wife, and she displays displeasure, she's not laughing at the joke, she's feeling uncomfortable with it. Definitely tell her, hey, you should stop making the joke. You definitely get confront that person. Tell them what you think. Tell them that what they're saying is hurting. Especially if you go to like a comedy show or something, and you know. But I just feel like I wouldn't punch somebody over that. Um, there got to be some warning.
hmm
You know, that's why they have the three strike rule. You don't go from 0 to 100 like
yeah.
that. If I tell the person and they still doesn't listen and they continue to make fun of my wife, then yeah, maybe we can throw hands outside or something. But even then, I wouldn't be like just come up and be like I'm gonna punch you in the face right now. No, I'd be like, hey, let's step outside if you're not gonna do stuff. And I think that's what Will should have done if he was that upset about his wife. Is let's take this
hmm
backstage. You know,
But have you ever been in a situation where you didn't have that logical thought process? It's just all emotions. It's just like,
no, I don't think I've ever been that angry at anybody where I snap. I feel like Will Smith snap. But I never had that problem. Even like when people make fun of me or something,
mm,
and I'm hurt by it. It's I never snap. I think a normal person would. I'm not saying that Will Smith might not be normal, but he's a celebrity. I'm sure he has a lot of stress.
yeah,
But I feel like what's the term I'm looking for? Not normal, but like a
he's your 1%.
well adjusted person. Who a part of functioning society knows the proper etiquette to not go from 0 to 100.
hmm
You can see that at the bar and stuff where inhibition is lower and people are, under the influence of alcohol and drugs, but not in like a typical setting, especially not an Oscar where you're wearing a tux and everyone is getting dressed up and fancy, getting awarded, you know, for movies that you made. That's
mm.
that's not the settings at all. It doesn't make sense.
So you think there's
What
something
about you? I,
well, about me? Um,
well, finish your thought.
so would you agree that there's something psychologically that Will Smith is dealing with? He's got some mental issues, some mental health
Yeah,
issues
I,
that.
I think. Uh, yeah, I think he definitely had something's going on. It's not normal.
Well, I looked
Like
into it.
a well-adjusted
Yeah,
person wouldn't act like
he's
that.
had other.
Maybe like built up with stress. We don't know what's going on at home. We don't know what's his relationship with his kids and his
Yeah,
wife. So
yeah, he's had other incidents. When he was 20 years old, there's this article that just released, I think today, of him and his mugshot. So when he was filming Prince of Bel Air, apparently he told his bodyguard to like assault somebody, and then he was charged with assault, and then he was put in prison or like in jail for a couple of days. And this was when he was 20 years old, so it's like it's not his first rodeo.
Wait, so did he hit the reporter? Or
No, it
did
was
his bodyguard hit the
yeah. He
reporter?
told the bodyguard to do. No, this was a different. This is a different case. It's not the
Oh,
reporter.
this is
Yeah,
different from him slapping.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So this was like when he was a
So
lot
he
younger.
told his bodyguard to assault someone like a paparazzi, or just like a normal person, or
I
what?
don't know who it was exactly, but
Like a fan.
yeah.
Doesn't
But it
matter.
doesn't
But
matter.
he
He
has
still
a
had that
history of
idea of like, can you go ahead and
hurting somebody.
exactly, and doesn't care about the consequences.
Yeah,
So
you know what? That make me even like more mad now. That the fact that he had a history of that, dude. Like he literally won an award after that. No one escorted him like out of the show. People just can sit there and like the show just keep on going as if nothing happens. No reprimand. He didn't get really reprimanded by any official people. He got talked to by some actors and stuff.
yeah,
And he went up, accepted his award,
like nothing happened.
cried, like I didn't even apologize to Chris Rock, man. Like he apologized to the Academy or whatever. But I'm like, bro, you literally assaulted somebody. You're not even gonna apologize to Chris Rock.
Hmm.
He issued a statement apologizing to Chris Rock like recently. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
through like a text or something. I don't even know he called him after or anything, but you see it on like social media. But the dude doesn't care about the consequences. Like just from what you told me now, like he has history doing it. That's just that made me even more mad now.
I know, I know, I know. If it was an average
I don't
GI
know why
Joe,
Chris Rock didn't press charges.
well, the Academy is
Dude, it was
still
any
having a meeting.
normal person
Did you know the Academy is having
to
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
a meeting to do what? No, they're having a meeting to do
Oh,
what?
so they're having a board meeting to see like what's their further action for Will Smith because he resigned from the his membership to be a part of the Academy.
That's what I see. Yeah.
But and then at the end of it, he's also saying like, I understand that they're gonna still go through with whatever it's gonna happen to me, like consequences, and I'm okay with it. Like he says, I'm ready for whatever is coming to me. We don't know yet because they're still
Okay.
having like a board meeting. It's still kind of,
So maybe like fine
yeah,
him or
they might have
something or
to
what?
have a fine or whatever. And then obviously, I think Chris Rock has to have a say in it too. Like, does he want to press charges? Blah blah blah.
Well, he already said he's not pressing
Oh,
charges.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That's like I think after the show
yeah.
or something. I don't know if it's official. Maybe he can still change his mind, but I don't know. I think that's the statement from the police is that Chris Rock is not pressing
Oh,
charges.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think the story is still gonna go on because we still want to know what exactly is gonna happen to Will Smith. He can't just uh, like get away with this scot free.
Yeah,
If
he
he
shouldn't.
does, I'm gonna be really angry because like if it was anybody else, like if it was just like a staff member, let's say a staff member from the academy comes up and does that, you're like he'll probably be in jail like right away and like probably never see the light of day. But if it's Will Smith, like
Yeah.
he has this privilege.
Yeah, just cause you're a celebrity, you get like free pass. Come on.
Yeah, and like every
If anything, celebrities should be
how
held to a higher
exactly.
standard because they're always on live national television. Like kids look up to him. Look, like I'm sure a lot of people look up to Will
Mhm.
Smith. Bad Boys 2, Prince of
Yeah.
Bel Air. So terrible.
Anyways, that's enough.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
yeah. We spent a lot more time talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock than I expected. Well, I watched the first episode of Moonknight. Have you heard of that?
No, you gotta catch up with
The
me.
new
Yeah,
series by Marvel.
no.
Yeah, this guy's still doing rotations, so I was busy. I have a lot of time on my hand, but dude, first episode dropped at Oscar Isaac. Personally, I hated all of the Disney plus Marvel shows recently. And I know a lot of people love it, but I hated Captain America and the Falcon. Wait, sorry, Falcon and the Winter
Mhm.
Soldier. I didn't really like Loki. What else were there? Hawkeye was decent. Like that's only because I like Jeremy Renner.
Mhm.
But they are really generic, like typical TV shows like superhero. I feel like they just cater way too much to kids. It's not the same vibe as you know the Avengers and like the blockbuster movies for me.
Mhm.
But Moon Knight, that's different. I'm really digging this first episode. It's very trippy.
Moonlight.
And it's like has a like a scary Moonlight, not Moonlight, and like a scary horror like undertone to it, suspenseful. So I think it's pretty well made. I only watched the first episode. I think it's done very well. I'm very excited to watch the next few episodes. So I suggest Moon Knight, even if you don't like. So you like me, you kind of like sick of all the Marvel Disney Plus shows. I
Mhm.
think this one's gonna change your mind. I think this one might be worth watching. It has Oscar Isaac in it. I think he's getting pretty popular. I don't know if you know who he
I don't
is.
know who Oscar Isaac is.
He's
Oh no, I do know him.
he's getting pretty big. Yeah, he's in like Star Wars. He was Paul. He's the Apocalypse in the X-Men movie. I think he's a pretty good actor. But for some reason, I keep getting like a Mark Ruffalo vibe from him, like the way he acts and stuff.
Oh,
But yeah, so that's a good show. I think you guys should check it out. If you guys haven't yet. I liked it. Um,
wait, so it's on
how about
Disney
you? Anything
Plus?
like cool that you?
Well, hold on.
Yeah,
It's on
it's on Disney
Disney
Plus.
Plus, and it's a live action. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't
so it's like one
really.
of the superhero Marvel show, like
I
Marvel been
haven't
doing.
even heard of Moon Knight. Like, what is his superpower?
I don't really know either. I think I read a few of his comic back then, but I think he's essentially like a mystical Batman. He got like cape and stuff, but his power is kind of like mystical. Based on and he's like kind of like beat up bad guys and a little more ruthless than your typical like Captain America.
Mm.
He's take he's like a dark vigilante kind of thing. But based on the show itself, from what I'm seeing, is talking about kind of like he has like a dissociative identity disorder. He kind of like a two-person in him. He kind of like blacking out at a certain time, waking up not knowing what he did.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like a mystical power, superpower kind of thing. So it's
Mm,
pretty interesting.
okay. Well, I've been watching Gotham, so
Oh yeah,
that's what I've been watching.
how's that
And it's
going?
so old, right?
Are you rewatching it? Is this your first time watching
It's
it?
my first time watching it. Okay,
Oh, okay.
and like I told you before, so I started watching this because of the new Batman movie. I didn't really like the new
Yeah.
Batman movie. Okay, I know people are gonna
Uh-huh.
disagree with me, but it's because the new Batman movie is more detective like, less action. So I wasn't really into it like how it was for Dark Knight or any other. It wasn't it wasn't action packed, that's basically it. But I
Okay.
started I started like exploring Gotham and I wanted to see what it was about, and now I have a newfound respect for the new Batman movie. Because Gotham
Okay.
really it's basically like a criminal TV series, right? Like any other like Criminal Mind TV show, but it takes place in Gotham. It shows you all the detective work that Gordon and Harvey, like the whole GCPD, and how they work to find the villain, right? And I can see how Batman, as he grew up and he knew about this detective work, how that helps him when he becomes Batman later on and he does detective work himself. So that's what Robert Pattinson really portrayed in the new Batman movie. Okay, and I didn't like that because I all I thought about Batman was he just kicks ass. He just freaking does all these cool action packed things, But in reality, Batman's actually more of a detective because he's like the
Yeah.
regular Joe, GI Joe. Like he's a regular human. He doesn't have superpowers. So he actually has a brain. He's actually very smart. So in Gotham, they portrayed him as this 12-year-old kid that like really digs through all these files that his father, investigated within Gotham, right? Like he's a 12-year-old kid. Can you imagine being 12 years old, reading all these documents about Wayne Enterprise, about Arkham, about Gotham. Like, I wouldn't be able to wrap my head around that. You know, I was just playing video games when I was 12. But this guy, he's like reading all these papers. He's gonna take over, you know, his dad's company, and he's trying to make it be a company that is not ridden with like like what like I don't know. It's not ridden with like crime and stuff, right? There's a lot of like bribery and crime, and so he
Yeah.
wants,
Like get rid of the
yeah, corruption.
corruptions.
There you go. That slipped out of me. But yeah, so then like having that as a contact in the background of Batman when he was a kid, like now I want to rewatch the new Batman again. Having that in mind,
Yeah,
and
you
I
should.
think that that would change everything. Like I probably like it more, you know. So that's what
Yeah.
I've been watching lately. But I talked to people about Gotham, like Patty's cousin. He watched the whole series, and he said he didn't like it. I'm like, wait, well, but you watched the whole thing. Like, wouldn't that mean that you like it? Like, you stayed with it. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, um,
So he watched the whole Gotham series, but he didn't like the
yeah.
Gotham
So
series,
it was
or he didn't like the Batman movie.
I know, very confusing.
Ah, okay.
But
I guess he was just disappointed in the ending.
oh, I didn't realize
That's
that.
usually how it is. Like they like it, you know, up to, and then they get like a bad ending. Like, oh man, so this whole show sucks. So
Oh, I see.
that's usually how it is.
Yeah. So that's what I've been watching lately. You told me that you don't really
Yeah,
like Gotham,
definitely.
huh?
Yeah, I didn't really like it because it's not because the show is bad itself. I like the actors, and actually I don't remember. I like the main actor; he looks cool. But I think the only problem I have, I didn't want to keep watching it just because I couldn't stand the fact that I was watching a Batman universe, knowing that I would never see Batman in it. So that was like every time I watch an episode, I was like, like sure it's good, but I'm like, I just want to see Batman, and I know that his Bruce Wayne's still 12, so there's no way I can see Batman. So that's the only reason why I
Really?
didn't like the show. I mean, not that I didn't like the show, I just
That's
stopped
a.
watching the show.
I will. Let me tell you that that's such a stupid reason. Because the whole
I'm not denying, I'm not denying it.
because the whole movie is Gotham. It's to learn about the history of Gotham. You know, not a lot of
Yeah, I
people
don't care
actually
about
know.
Gotham. I just want
You
I
care
only
about.
care about Batman.
I see. But I'm,
It's like it's like you buying a pizza and then you eating only the crust.
no, that's not. You know, some people really like the crust more than the pizza. Yeah, there are
Okay,
people that like the crust.
yeah. So the people like you who like Gotham and no Batman.
I guess.
All
Anyway,
right, man. Let's get into some medical topics here.
okay. What do you have for me?
Uh,
Enlighten me.
you know, NYU, New York universities, um, back in like 2017, 2018, probably 2018 because their graduating classes graduating now. So they promise, you know, debt-free tuition for the graduates, right?
Okay. I remember that. I remember reading that because 2018 is when we started.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and so the first class of graduate. Well, let me tell you the reason why they wanted to give debt-free to. What do you think they wanted to give, you know, my students like debt-free tuition?
Well, obviously, anything that is free, it's because it's an incentive, right? With some,
To go to med
yeah,
school? Everybody want to go to med school.
not everybody. Well, I'm just saying, like,
Everyone want to go to
whenever
med school.
somebody tries to advertise you that it's free, they always have this some type of ulterior motive. What? Well, like, nothing is free in life, right? So the fact that you're telling me something is free, right? I always have to know what's the ulterior motive. Okay, so in this question,
Yeah. So what do you think the ulterior motive
the
is?
ulterior motive is that
What? Look at Kaiser's, right? They give the first graduating class free tuition in order for them to work in primary care with Kaiser for after they graduate for like what 4 years, 5 years.
mhm.
That was their incentive.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's the same thing with NYU. Like with this debt
But
free,
NYU doesn't make their students go work for them.
Well, they obviously.
If you're with Kaiser, then you have to go work for them after. There's no contract with NYU.
So there has to.
Well, anyway,
No, you
go ahead.
didn't let me finalize my guess.
Fantasy guess.
So is it there's a catch to it basically, right? So I think the catch was if we give you to debt free, you have to. I'm really doing deductive reasoning here, okay? To see if I can do.
Okay.
Obviously, the catch is to do something that not a lot of people want to do, right? Does that make sense?
Okay.
There's a catch, and the catch is to do something that not a lot of medical students, when they graduate, want to do. Okay, and I think not a lot of people want to go into like a specialty that not a lot of people like. And I think the specialty, well, just do deductive reasoning. Everyone wants to do surgery. Everyone wants to do like the top specialty. So just the bottom one is like medicine. So I'm guessing the catch is you have to do medicine, like internal or family medicine.
Primary care. Primary care medicine. Yeah. So I'm looking at all these. So I went back and I
I'm
looked at.
right.
Well, let me just give the punch. Let me just give the punchline
Wait, you
to
didn't
all the
tell me. Am I
listeners.
right?
So, well, we'll talk about it and then you see
Okay.
you're right or not. So, the punchline is that all the graduates from NYU's first class of graduate debt free this year, we just had our match, and literally none of them went into family medicine. Not a single student.
What?
Yeah, I think there were not even pediatrics. I don't think. Wait, hold on. Let me pull up the figures so you guys can see. I don't want to flame them for no reason. So we got anesthesiology, dermatology, emergency medicine, general surgery. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 internal medicine. But we don't know if those people are going to specialize or not. You have neurology, OB, ophthalmology, orthopedic surgery, pathology. We have some pediatrics, PM&R, plastic surgery, psychiatry. So I don't know. Would you consider pediatrics, like primary care, or?
I wouldn't think
But there's no
so.
family. There's no family medicine.
Wow.
None. Like for me, I would say that people going. I mean, I don't want to put words in the mouth, but I think that internal medicine people is probably going to specialize in something. GI, cardiology, something, especially coming from NYU, pretty academic, academic prestigious institution.
Yeah.
There's two people that went into medicine, primary medicine, right?
Wait, what's
And we have
primary
probably
medicine?
I don't know. Would that be primary care?
Yeah. Primary
Okay.
medicine. Wait, is there another?
Regardless, right?
Okay.
But there's no family medicine. There's just I think there's like 8 pediatrics. But pediatrics is pediatrics. It's not primary care for everybody.
What I'm curious about is that
Family medicine. Well, let me finish this because it's funny because all the interviews that they did in 2018, I look back with CNBC, like CNN and all this stuff. They were talking about, oh yeah, and they pull research from students, and this is a problem with students too. Is that, oh yeah, the reason why we don't go to primary care medicine is because the debt burden is too high when we graduate, $200,000-$300,000. And we see now that even if you graduate debt free, people are still going to go for a high paying specialty. So regardless, even if there's 6, 8 pediatrics, 2 primary care, internal medicine, that's still a very low ratio of student graduating into primary care. Everybody else is going for higher paying specialty.
so it's a lame excuse.
So yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they were honest about the intention, but it didn't work out the way they wanted to. I think if you really want people to do that, do what Kaiser does and force them to a contract. Like we're gonna pay for your 4-year medical school, but you have to come out as hospitalist or family medicine and work with us for 3-4 years.
Hmm.
You have to match into family medicine
Hmm.
or internal medicine, primary care.
What I'm
So
what
I thought that was
yeah.
a good point.
What I'm curious about is like, can you? I'm gonna look up like the residency programs that people matched in before this whole debt free thing in NYU. Does that make sense? And see if there's a difference.
If there's an increase in primary care
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
after that,
Like
yeah, that's
maybe
true.
this
That's
is just
that's probably a good point to have.
sorry.
Can you look it up?
Yeah, NYU. What do I look up? Like match
Yeah,
specialty.
NYU Medical School match 2021.
2021 was the class that didn't have the tuition free, debt free and stuff, right?
Yeah, 2022 is the first class.
I keep on getting 2022.
We in
Wait,
2022 now,
NYU
man.
Grossman School of Medicine, or what?
Uh,
What NYU?
NYU Langone Health.
Okay. Uh, help me find it too. I'm just curious.
I'm going through it right now, but I only see the 2022.
Warren Alpert, no. Rutgers, no. Hmm. Well, anyways, let's just not take too much time. But it'll be interesting to see, right? Like maybe this is just the statistics for the
Yeah,
NYU or this school specifically that no one that matched will choose primary care anyways. You know, so this is um,
yeah,
this is interesting. But doesn't Riverside have something like that? Riverside School of Medicine.
that's true. I don't know.
I remember. I think some.
No, I think no. I think you gotta pay for UCR most school, and then I think you just. I know for sure that I think with you go to UCR undergrad, and you do well enough to a certain point, you get automatic spots at the med school.
Oh, you get a spot that.
I don't know. I don't know about. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. If that's actually like a program
No,
that
I'm talking
will
about like going into the medical
pay off your
school.
school loans for
Yeah,
you.
they'll pay off your school loan. You'll graduate debt free as long as you stay in the community and work either one of their like the hospital or something for like I forgot like 10 years or so or like 5 years.
But then what did you match somewhere else, and then they wanted you to come back
No, you match somewhere else and
to
then you won't
Riverside and work?
you don't get it debt free.
So you gotta pay for it again to
Yeah,
match
you gotta
somewhere
pay
else.
for it. So like it works perfectly if
Yeah,
you like want to stay in Riverside. That's where your home is and everything. You know, but
yeah.
I would understand that.
So my wife makes a good point that they should increase the pay for primary care specialty. That's how you're gonna attract people, which I think is a good point. That's how you're gonna attract people to go into primary care
Yeah,
and stop trying to cut it.
they're still trying to cut.
You know they try to cut. They try to cut reimbursement for family for primary care from Congress by like I think like 6 or 7%.
Why?
And someone pointed this out. That was funny to me. And then the AFP, so or like the AMA or something, they went to lobby for it, and so they managed to. It's like they remember them sending an email. It's like, oh yeah, we victory in the court, and we managed to keep them so they only cut by 1%. And you think about it, that's not a victory because
They're still getting cut.
well, I think inflation rate was 7. Inflation was 7% this year. So we actually lost like 8%.
No,
It's not even keeping up. Every year there's like a 1 to 2 or even 3% inflation rate. Like they should be bumping our reimbursement by 3% every year.
yeah.
Instead of trying to cut it. And people are saying it's the perfect sales technique where the government kind of tells you to shoot, man, my camera died again.
Jeez.
Where the government tells you to, not the government, but like you go to like I don't think it's called foot in the door effect, but if you give someone like a really high number, like I'm gonna sell you this car for $50,000, and then later on they tell you, you know what, you're a good person, and you like try to haggle down the price of them to like 30,000 or something. They're like, I'm gonna sell you the car for $40,000,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd be like, oh, you know, that's a good deal because I got it for $10,000 cheap, but they were planning to sell you the car for like $35,000 anyway, so they making $5,000 profit. So you know, Congress saying they're gonna cut 10% when they actually just wanted to cut like 1-2%. That's all they needed.
It's negotiation 101, man. You always start off high because
Yeah, that's why. So it's not really a victory.
no.
We have people in the lobbying for us poorly.
So we should be lobbying for ourselves in the future, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah, you know, I guess you gotta take like leadership spots, and that's too much work, man. I don't want to do that.
Well,
But yeah, no, I think doctors definitely need to do a better job speaking out for themselves and everything.
yeah. It may be 1% this year, but it may be 2-3% later, you know? Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, but you know that's why no one want to go into primary care because it just pays like doesn't pay.
Why doesn't it pay that much again? It's like reimbursements are just
It's
getting lower, or I don't really know
yeah, you just
much.
get like you bill a patient for you know like a 99-204 like 15-minute visit or something. Let's say before it was like $100. Now the Congress is like, you know, you can't bill for that much. You gotta bill it for $90.
What's their reasoning? You think it's just because it's too expensive? Healthcare is too expensive for people? Insurance is too expensive now? They want to decrease the
Yeah, I think,
insurance?
or just like, yeah, no, I think just insurance companies just have better influence and they don't want to pay that much, so they can just lobby better than us, and they say, hey, we don't want to pay that much for doctors. So I think the insurance company is just winning.
Mm. Yeah, I just want to kind of learn more about that. So it's basically insurance versus doctors now. They don't want to pay as much.
Yeah, essentially, we're at odds, right? Because we want to get things done for the patients, and the insurance want to keep money in the pocket. A lot of the time, you get to fight the insurance. Hey, this patient needs CT or like something. The insurance not gonna want to pay for it. And then even for like, let's say every annual visit, physical exam, the insurance want to keep more money in their pocket. They don't want to pay for that much, so they try to lower the price.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see, like, is it all across the board with like not just primary care, but like, you know, hospitalists ordering tests in the hospital, like there's a CT scan, you know, let's say it costs $1,000 for a CT scan. Has it like gone down reimbursement wise as well in that field, you know? Or is it just primary care getting shafted? You know what I mean?
I think from what the data, I think specialists were getting paid less too. I think especially for the last year or two, I think they were saying primary care is winning because they kind of bumped primary care by like, it was kind of like one of the only specialty that kind of had a bump in reimbursement where all the specialists were getting like decreased in pay. Yeah. I think that it just get a negative perception of, I think the public just think that doctors make too much or whatever, but you know, that's something else we can get into another time because that's not true.
Why not get into it now, man?
Uh,
Or that's just too long.
I,
I thought this podcast is about us
I don't know.
learning
I
about
mean,
things.
as like people don't realize that doctors, we spend more than half of our
Life.
quarter of our life.
Or even more for people that
Like
are later.
when we graduate, people think that doctors get out and they start making money, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no problem, they can be rich now." But they don't realize that, like me and you, I'm gonna have $450,000 of debts. And some doctors graduate with no debts. Sure, there's like exceptions where those doctors they have family supporting them and stuff, but a lot of the doctors going into, especially like minorities and stuff, we getting out with tons of debt, and we are behind from like all our friends, especially all my friends, like people who doesn't get a doctorate or like a master or something, like let's say engineering or computer science. Like there's kids from my youth group who's making 100,000 plus a year, doing software engineering or like just engineering in general, like making good 89,000 buying Tesla, buying houses,
Mhm.
and they're like 21, 22. And think about all the time they have 7, 8 years ahead of doctors to start building their wealth,
Mhm.
to start accumulating money, putting money in the market, so then they can be set to retire early. Everyone has a head start on us,
Mhm.
so we need that high compensation to kind of catch up with everyone else. We're not that much richer than everyone
Mhm.
else. Like, are there rich doctors? Sure, right? Sure, they're very rich doctors, like neurosurgeries and stuff. Orthopedic surgeon, they get paid a lot. It sounds like a lot, on paper. You make $600,000 a year.
Mhm.
Most of your money gonna end up going to taxes anyway.
Mhm.
So
See,
that's a
that's
rant that I
yeah.
have.
No, I totally agree with you. L- People lumping primary care physicians with the neurosurgeons, the plastic surgeons, it's like the total like it's
Yeah,
so misconstrued. Like we don't make that much compared to those surgeons,
yeah.
you
There's like
know?
real estate agent making like tons more money than primary care
Yeah.
doctors out there.
I saw like a post on Reddit or something. It's like I think it was a medical student posting. It's like, oh, my friend who worked at McDonald's like right after high school, like and saved money, did his Roth IRA and all this stuff. Like he's like he has way more
It's
money
like now
than
in a better position than
yeah,
you.
exactly. He has a
Yeah,
house, he
he
has a
has more money in
family,
the stock market. Yeah,
and I'm like in like
yeah.
200K debt. It's like what has life gone to? And all he did was started
He
working at
doesn't.
McDonald's. I was like, what?
Yeah,
It's
and he's probably by this time he started 18. He's probably like managerial position already.
exactly.
In a few years, making all these benefits that he's getting every year
And he
too.
has all these
Pension plan.
assets. He has all these assets because he's smart financially. He has the time to be educated financially because he's already working as an 18-year-old, and he wanted to learn about financial wellness or whatever. I forgot what the term is. And he literacy,
Literacy,
yeah. So he was able to
responsibility. Yeah,
take what he made, although it was small at first, and made and invest in it. And now he's like, better well off than I'm a medical student, third year, super in debt. I don't like it's a huge start. Like he had a huge start on life and
Yeah.
financial.
People don't realize how big of a gap there is,
Yeah,
because what do people say? Time in the market is way better than any money invested in the
yeah,
market. He have 8 years on you, just letting like 6,000, let's say like $10,000 saying that 8 years of $10,000, at like 7% appreciation
yeah.
rate annually. It's gonna be way more money than you putting in $200,000 later. I don't know. I'm not doing the math right, but
No, you're
the point is that time in the
no.
market matters.
Here, let me give you a specific one because I just had a lecture on it. We had a financial literacy lecture last week,
Good.
and it was mind blowing because it was something like, oh, if you put $10,000 in, like just 4 years earlier, by the end of like when you're 65 and okay, let's say, so person number one, okay, puts $10,000 in every year, but he started when he was 21. Versus person number two, he put $10,000 in, but he started when he was 30 or something. Okay, now they're both 65. How much more money do you think person one will have at the end versus person two? And it was only bit by like a couple years earlier.
And then like 35 years later, I don't know. Well, how many do you start with? 10,000.
Yeah, 10,000 a year. No, 2,000 a
Oh,
year.
$10,000
Just
a year.
$2,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he started
I don't
5
know.
years,
What would it
just
be?
5 years earlier. He would have
Yeah.
$1.5 million more. And he,
More than if you started 5 years
yeah,
later.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
So it was basically her example of the power of compound interest, you know? So like
Right.
if we started way earlier, dude, what, we're like 30. If I started when I was 18, like geez, I would at least have that much more when I retire. It's like crazy. So
Yeah.
start now.
Yeah. So people doesn't understand that we need a big shovel. I mean, like, yeah, we're gonna be making more money than most of people after, but we need to spend a lot of that money to put towards our saving so we can retire later for our families and
Hmm.
for our kids
Yeah.
compared to the average person. So we need the extra money for a reason,
Yeah. It's
for all the sacrifice that we made going to get the degree
yeah. So
and
now
to
people are trying
get the
to cut
training we
it,
need to
and
help
that's
people.
just horrible. It's gonna make people want to do it less. That's for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
Mm.
But
All right, man. I think we
oh
should. I think we should end it here. It's been like probably a little bit more than an hour. But
wow, really?
anything else you want to say? Last thing.
No. It was fun chit chatting with you, man. I want
Thanks.
to
We're
keep
gonna be.
going, but next time.
Yeah.
Next
So
time.
this is our first episode. So there's some, troubleshooting that we gotta work through. But yeah, it was good. Thanks for listening, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Uh, subscribe to us on the podcast. I'm not sure where this is gonna go on to iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. I gotta figure out how to upload the stuff.
We'll figure
And
it out.
until next time.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.